Okay, it's time for today's CSS Battle. Let's see what we've got. Okay, this could be interesting. What I'm seeing is a conic gradient here, which means I'm going to need a border bottom. So let's first off add some margin here. What about 40, 40, 40, 20, something like that. Let's try 220 here. Okay, so it might be 50. Bottom might be 50. Then if we do border, solid 30 pixels. This color, it wants 30 pixels. How about 40 pixels? 40 pixels looks good. Then if we do border radius, line in, line in 0, 0 maybe. That does look about the right shape. Get rid of the outline now. We'll change its background to a conic gradient. Uh, 40 to 95 is 55, and 50 to 135 is 85, so 55. 85 pixels, I think. Then this color, 25%. And this color, let's just temporarily set this all to 0. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. We want to make the 85 across. If we do 0, 0, 85 pixels, 85 pixels, and then 50, 165, so 115. That kind of gets us close-ish. What we're going to do is add an outline of 9 inches solid and this color. That should give us to some fairly close accuracy this. Then we do, which is 0, 0 from the top. I have minus 30, minus 40 from the bottom. get rid of this outline, change this to a star, shove the outline into a bit that is only for that background, then rotate. Let's do a scale -1. Then we can do a transform. What, pixels maybe? Translate, not transform. 41, 51, 60, 170. A little bit further. About 180. Right, how close is that? 99.9%. Okay. What happens if I use 50% instead of 9 in? Yeah, that's what I thought. So how wide was it? Two sixty. 260 leaves 140. So what, 70 pixels? 70 pixels. Give that a go. 99.9, and it still looks like it's going to be those curves out. Go 51, no. 50, 49, no, that's going to be 50. But that gets worse, about 69. Try that. Still 99.9. Okay. But this bit seems to be right. So it's only these so what? How far out is 50%? 50%. Right, quite a way. About 40, 45, 51. See, that's definitely going to go wrong. So 49. Frustrating. Still going to be 99.9. Zoom in. Huh. About 90Q. About 60Q. 59, 58. Okay, how about 40%? Did that do? Okay. Don't think that's going to solve it either. It's still at that 99.9% malarkey. Go back to normal size. Okay. How else could I get? Also try 1 minus 1, see if that gets us any closer. And try 69 pixels, 70 pixels, because that did look a tiny bit closer. I am stuck in 99.9% hell. Okay, let's get rid of that. Change that to an ampersand. Grab all of this out of here. Put it in there. Set this to have a background of that. E. E. Just in case this is something weirder happening than I think it is. And to get that color, let's try that. And this hasn't got a height set, so 200 minus 40, so 160. That should still give me 99.9. And it does. Awesome. So what happens if I do filter, blur, 1Q, Yeah, still got the same problem. Okay, let's try a slightly different approach, maybe. So let's start from the base template. We'll set this background to the purple. Then on top of it, we'll put a radial gradient. 110, 115, I think. We'll remember to give it a 1Q. We'll give it this color. What is 180, so 140, so 70 pixels. And then parent. That circle doesn't quite match with where I was going. 115, 117, 118, 119, about 120. Okay, that looks reasonably close. Which would actually be minus 90 pixels, minus 30 pixels, I think. If I get rid of these. Yep. Which means that I can do the because we're going to need two of them anyway. This one will probably be 90 pixels, 30 pixels. Yep. Okay. So that gets us those. We now need the blocks to go beneath them. Yeah. Let's start the blocks at 110, I think. So they are 110 off of 250, so 140 high. 140 high and 140 wide. So conic-gradient, 40 pixels, 140 pixels. Now then, that wants to be the last bit. So transparent, 75%. Then this color. I'm going to take that because we're going to need it twice again. So we will call this S for square. First one, we want to move it 40 pixels across and 110 pixels down. Okay. We want another one of those, which is going to be 220 across and 40 pixels down. 30 pixels down? 50. Obvious. Yeah. Then we're going to use a linear gradient, this color. 20 pixels. 30 pixels. And transparent. And we're going to shift that to 50% down, maybe. Can I do that? No. How about 125 pixels? 135 pixels. Perfect. That gets us those lines. Do a bar, a conic-gradient, 30, 50%. I think that's going to be less than 150 pixels, so this should let me do some fun stuff with it. Transparent, 75%, and then this purple again. We'll use bar B. We want to shift that across 95 pixels. Maybe shift it down by 50 pixels. Oh no. How about we make that 60% instead? There we go. That's one. Then we'll take that. We want to shift this one across 275 pixels. Probably down 90. Okay, let's see if this one will let us have it. Right, that is 100%. I think the first way would have been far more elegant, but I got stuck in 99.9% jail. So let's see if this still passes now that I've done a unit replace. Who knows? Right, that is still 100%, and this looks like worse output than my other one. So, you know, just goes to show that diff doesn't always work perfectly. But that is where I'm going to leave it for now, because I think that fixing the other one is probably possible, but would also take quite some time. So I might have a go at that when I wake up tomorrow, or later today rather. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.